Inspiration for your Halloween themed wedding.
Hi, welcome back to Bridal Society. I'm Rebecca, this is Laura, and yes, we are talking Halloween or Gothic weddings and providing you with all the inspiration you could possibly want for your wedding. So Halloween is just around the corner, so we are in the zone.
Yeah.
We're ready. There is a Pinterest board to support this video, so all the images that you will see popping up in today's video you will be able to find on our Pinterest board, which will be linked in the description box below.
So let's get cracking. Now, just because we're doing Halloween themed wedding, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to lean into the novelty side of Halloween. We're coming at this as the Gothic, elegant still, touches of Halloween. You can still have things that are on trend, but just with a twist. We're thinking, obviously, black is a very strong colour when you automatically think Halloween, but also the darker, richer tones. So the burgundies, the purples, the reds, the burnt oranges. You can mix those with some of the dusky, pink colour that work well, all to create this amazing, cosy, Gothic-y atmosphere for the wedding.
Or even you can even bring in metallics against the blacks and things to, if you want to give it that kind of glam Gothic kind of edge as well. Yeah, so there's still a lot of what we think of more classically wedding-y things that can be crossed over, just paired with a different colour like black rather than ivory, for example.
So first category we're going to talk about is flowers and decor. Now, we talked in a recent video, I think it was the backdrops for ceremony or behind your sweetheart table or top table in a wedding, about draping at the end of the aisle. So you've got a statement structure with some draping in some sheer fabrics. But I think all the examples we gave there, the fabrics were kind of pale colours or whites, but you can still have that effect, but turn it dark. So have the black fabrics at the end, create a real statement end of the aisle. But still with that on-trend feel.
Yeah, you can definitely still be trendy. And again, with that backdrop video as well, we're talking about things, at the end of the aisle. And we do think about getting married under arches, that kind of thing. But your kind of Halloween Gothic-y twist on that could be to shape that more as a coffin. So not necessarily, well, you could go full out and stand a coffin at the end of the aisle if you wanted to. But again, thinking more a kind of nod to the style, so the kind of elegant twist on that is maybe just having almost bronze piping shape and welded into that kind of coffin-y shape at the end, maybe decorated with some florals in the colours that we were talking about before. So again, it's kind of just a subtle nod, it's there and you kind of, when you copy it, you're oh, okay. But yeah, it's something you would normally have, but done differently.
So with centerpieces, when you have floral centerpieces, you might have those in a vase traditionally. You might want to put a twist on that and maybe use pumpkins. So we have done several videos about how to use pumpkins in weddings, especially if you're having an autumnal wedding, but this also works well for kind of the Halloween-y type weddings as well. So you can use those as your vessel for the flowers themselves.
Or even a skull.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, with the top cut off, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you can, so many ways to use pumpkins.
So many.
Yeah. And Munchkin pumpkins, we have a slap session with those.
Yeah.
But yes, pumpkins, if you have a staircase or something, you can put those up there, those kind of things. There are a lot of different things
and you can
do with them.
Yeah, you can even lean into the disco ball trend and have disco pumpkins.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's lots of different ways to incorporate what's really big in weddings currently, but with your own Gothic-y twist.
Yeah. And of course, candles, right? That is probably going to be a big part of this type of wedding. And obviously they're a very wedding-y thing, but you can get candles that are black, for example. Again, just the candles in general give that kind of that warmth. You want that kind of dark lighting to give that the mood, the vibe. But yeah, the black candles, or you could still have the sort of white candles and tie like a black ribbon around it, or whatever kind of dark warm tone colour palette you've gone for, something like that. Just again tie it all in, or even what obviously the candle is standing in as well. Yeah, it's a traditional candle holder, but again, think about the kind of colours with that.
Or even like the antique metals would work well with that as well, rather than having anything too shiny or too, like glass. Again, everything a bit like aged, worn, more lived in kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to kind of leave flowers out altogether but still want some decor around that gives a nod to the natural nature, you could use branches, twigs, which kind of maybe give a nod to broomstick, witch's broomstick, something like that. But it's bringing that kind of outside in still, the organic shapes, but nothing too full of life and vibrant. It's bare wood. It's,
close to death.
Yeah. But adding a statement, yeah.
Yeah. And in terms as well, like props around the room, or as a sort of photo booth, like, well, not booth, but photo backdrop type thing, neon signs. So again, popular trend in weddings, but again, done in like a red or even a white with a back, like black draping and things. Again, giving that sign, but that sort of Halloween vibe. But in terms of the wording, you can use things like till death, from till death us do part. And so it's really like tied into the wedding, but in a clever way that's still kind of like dark. And there's another phrase, is it till death us do party, was that it?
Oh yeah, till death do us party.
Till death do us party, and things like that. So yeah, you can have kind of clever ways of incorporating those.
And you might just want to make some really statement decor pieces. So we saw this one in particular that I don't think either of us had ever seen anything like it before. And I think they're umbrellas.
Yeah, I think so.
But with the hanging black down, and it just adds, they kind of remind me, if you're a Harry Potter fan, of like the Dementors a little bit, but you won't have a clue what I'm talking about. But again, like statement pieces, but they just feel very in keeping with the kind of theme that we're going for here.
Mm-hmm. Now we're moving on to tablescapes. So obviously we touched briefly talking about pumpkins in the last section and having those as centerpieces in many different ways. So like whole flowers just on their own, using them as table numbers, so many things. And then I already got enthusiastic about it in the last section, but for some reason I'm getting excited again. But you could also use like munchkin pumpkins almost as like table runners if you've got maybe like long thin tables with maybe twigs or simple leaves to kind of run down.
Yeah, or as place settings as well.
Yes.
On your table. But one thing you can consider for your tables, if you're leaning into this theme, is to move away from your white linen tablecloths. We don't want that crisp white look. You want the dark and moody tablecloths, so whether that's black or like a dark burgundy or purple, which just immediately sets the tone of the reception room and just elevates kind of everything. So there's nothing like bright and stark and white about it. It's the dark and moody theme.
Yeah. And that extends to all your like linen. So it doesn't even have to be like the tablecloth. It can be like the napkins as well. Even if something like glassware, it might not actually be glass, but the drinkware, I should say, could be black as well. And the menus, the place cards, all those kind of things could be done in different colours. So these things don't have to be white, right? And you could do them in black, but have sort of gold calligraphy on them, which would create a nice contrast on there. But that metallic thing, as they're coming in, can still keep that vibe going.
Or if you do want to keep the lighter coloured tablecloths, you can do something fun to create the atmosphere in a different way, like lighting up underneath your tables. So these maybe more for a drinks reception, possibly if there's smaller tables that are raised, you can actually have them glowing in the room. So especially if your reception space is quite dark in itself, you have the mood lighting, but then you have glowing tables around. That would look cool.
It would look cool. We mentioned candles briefly before. Obviously, bring those into your tablescapes too. Obviously, you're going to have to check with your venue in terms of whether they allow real candles and things like that. But yeah, incorporating them into your tablescapes, and as well, there's having the effect of the drip candle as well over a glass bottle, something like that. Which I forgot to mention before, but yeah, that can have quite a kind of spooky effect.
Moving on to stationery. So this was touched upon slightly with like the menus in the previous section, but again, all your stationery can definitely lean into the theme. So again, it doesn't have to be printed on white card, it doesn't have to be white. You can choose blacks or other deep colours for your stationery, just so it all coordinates. Or if you are choosing the white card just maybe for budget reasons, or just because you like the look of it, you can still add those touches. So like with the candles previously, adding maybe like a bow around them in a dark colour ribbon, you could do the same for your paper stationery as well.
Yeah, because I think you maybe don't want just everything black, right? Because you do need some contrast in there, some like pops, whether that be of white or of gold or of green or all these kind of things. But yeah, I think if it's all just, it becomes monotone, I think, otherwise. So I think just to elevate it, I think, yeah, there's those contrasts. So yeah, if you do still have some white things, I mean, white is still Halloweeny, like it's a kind of ghostly thing. So when I'm not saying you can't have white for it to be Halloween, but yes. But yeah, in terms of like your signage, so like your welcome sign, for example, yeah, you can have that. Again, leaning into those colours, but in terms of the phrasing, you could have things like, we're dying to see you written on there, something like that. So yeah, just being clever.
Yeah, clever with the wording. And again, if on like a cake table or dessert table, something like desserts to die for. So there's ways, just fun ways to have your signage. But you're not even limited to colours, or the wording. You can also play with the shapes of your stationery, so whether that's invitations or menus or other on the day stationery, you could again subtle nod to maybe like a coffin shape, if that's the kind of route you're going down with the theme, or just other shapes just to make it a bit more interesting.
Yeah, or you can even have your name cards on the tables held in like fake teeth, like fangs. If you really want to go, and it's maybe edging towards the novelty side, but I think if there's just one or two touches like that, that's not going to go too far down that road. So now one of our favourite topics, cake. Cake toppers, edible favours, which are the best kind, as you will know, we think, if you watch our videos. So wedding cake's very traditional, but obviously you can put a twist on it. And one of the trends that's around in terms of wedding cakes at the moment is sort of a Lambeth style, and this works perfectly for a Halloween or Gothic theme, even still done in sort of white, ivory, buttercream colours. So there's this one that we found that says till death on top, so again, it's not a topper as such, but it has created that kind of vibe. But
you're not limited to white or ivory when it comes to wedding cake. So again, you can lean into the dark colours on your cake as well.
Even like incorporating sort of autumnal kind of fruits and things, like sort of figs, like dark berries, that kind of thing. Just to, if you're looking to kind of put something else on there other than just the kind of the buttercream look, and that kind of drip trend as well, of like, that's been around a long time now, I feel like, where the chocolate usually is kind of can maybe look like blood potentially, like that kind of thing, just to make it that kind of Halloween-y thing, if you really wanted to go there.
Or just choosing, like, if you're going for this like drip on like a semi-naked cake, choosing cakes that maybe like chocolate cake or darker colour cakes that still give you that semi-naked look with then the drip. Yeah, choosing that darker colour cake just to bring in the richness and the darker tones with it as well. Without going too crazy, you can still have that semi-naked cake, which is a very popular style, but you're choosing to have it in the way that you want it to fit in with the theme of the wedding.
And in terms of like edible favours, the time of year, sort of you're thinking like apple bobbing, that kind of thing, which you could have as a fun activity at your wedding, especially like for the kids perhaps. But as favours, so you could have like the toffee apples, caramel apples, chocolate apples, and they could be like dipped in other things, but yeah, and then like packaged up and done as favours. But again, you can make them look black. The kind of black on the green is kind of gives that kind of witchy vibes.
Or you could really go for it with a touch of novelty here with something we've actually done a video on, like Halloween themed cakesicles, so the cake lollipops that again you could be packaged up, but these could be either like subtly Halloween, so just the colours, or you could go full on novelty with like mummy themed or witchy themed or pumpkins, things like that. Either just for the kids or for the big kids too, because everyone likes cake. Well, most people like cake.
Yeah.
We like cake.
Yeah. Or even your favourite boxes, like regardless of maybe what you're having in them, but if you just like, even if the thing isn't that Halloween-y in a typical sense, but yeah, you put it in sort of a coffin shaped miniature like gift box, so you can get like, even if they're just sugared almonds, which are like the very, very traditional wedding favourite, right? But if they were given in a miniature like coffin shape, there you go, you've tied it right in.
Instant Halloween, yeah. On to the wedding outfits. Now again, the obvious choice for this would be to go a black dress. If you're for a wedding dress or a wedding outfit, wedding jumpsuit, that kind of thing. Go dark, go black, make the statement.
But if you're still sticking with a white dress, you can still kind of incorporate things. So you could put a huge like black bow on the back, or a black belt, for example, or you have the black veil or the black cape. So as I say, even if, you know, for monetary reasons or just because you still want something that's like uber traditional to hold on to, like for whatever the reason, if you still want the white dress, but incorporate some of the black, and they could be detachable things or sewn on things, just kind of tie things in.
Or if you're choosing separates, again you could kind of choose one, like the top could be black, bottom could be white. So and that could either be interchangeable throughout the day, so you could start with all white and then change later on for your reception.
Because you get like lace like cover up overlays too, so it could be that the dress is one colour and then the overlay is a different colour, particularly at this time of year where you may be looking for maybe an extra layer. And
lace is a fabric that really works well with the theme as well, especially with like the Gothic theme. Long sleeves as well, because when I think of Gothic, I also think of like Victorian tie kind of. So yeah, the lace, the long sleeves, that works well within the theme.
Yeah. I'm also kind of loving this like ombre look, like in the skirt. Again, it's sort of a more than one tone going on, because I feel like as soon as you decide I'm not doing traditional wedding, like there's just so many like possibilities that feel like they open up, and this is I think a really fun way to play with that.
And another type of cover up you might think of is, rather than like a denim jacket, you could go for the leather jacket. So that kind of, again, the darker colour probably, but more of like edgy rock and roll-y type thing, which I feel like works alongside this quite well, and you can have that personalised still as you would maybe like the denim jackets, but you could have it like till death on the back, or again just your names or just something, but brings in that like the edginess to whatever outfit you've chosen to wear underneath.
And you could also get them for like, if you were really going for it, like for you and maybe all your bridesmaids, because I feel like that would be quite a cool shot to have as the group and to tie you all in together as well. But another type of cover as well would be this kind of like almost like feathery, again white, but you could get it in black or whatever as well. Like just cover up over the shoulders. It gave both of us the like Black Swan vibes. Like, and I'm still traumatized from that movie all these years on.
And if you're thinking about suits, I think actually just a black tuxedo could work with this.
Guys are fine.
Yeah. But if you want to do something slightly different, maybe think about the fabrics. So are you thinking like velvet, I think would work really well, or a dark coloured suit, so maybe like the purples, the burgundies, the dark greens, they all would work well with the theme as well.
Yeah. Or if you're thinking, if they're wearing a tie, like if you're thinking about the colour of the tie, even if they're going maybe with a more regular suit, again, you can kind of tone that in. So, wedding hair, accessories, things to do from here up. So, you can make a statement here. So, in terms of like your hairpiece, so obviously we had veils earlier, but we're talking like hair pieces. So, you can be really dramatic here if you want to be. So, like things with spikes coming out. Be careful when you're like greeting your guests and things. It might be just for the ceremony, maybe. But yeah, I think you can go big here without being afraid. Like it will incorporate very easily. I think thematically here, we're kind of Game of Thrones, Pirates of the Caribbean influences, not all out, but like influences, I think, in these things that we're putting up.
Deep coloured roses, whether they're real or fake, would work as part of a headpiece or a flower crown if you want to go, but like big bold florals but in the dark like berry tones and things like that, I think would work part of this as well. So it's like that autumnal / Halloween.
Yeah.
But you could also incorporate some non-floral things. So if you like really wanted to go for it, some little skulls, some tiny pumpkins, some fruit still.
But also the whole like celestial theme that's been popular. Again, they kind of quite nicely get incorporated into these kind of accessories as well. So that could be a way to go. In terms of like hairstyle, I think you're quite open. Like you're probably not getting the sleek chevron bun lot going on. It's maybe sort of big plaits, maybe even the kind of rosette type style around the side, maybe threading something through there. I think this may be the Pirates of the Caribbean thing that I'm seeing in my mind here. But
yeah, loose waves in a similar way to we talked about, like the boho waves or the that kind of thing. Yeah, beachy waves. That done with the right accessories also works for this.
Yeah. Our final section for today is touching on those final little extra bits, those things that you can do just to really like pull it all together, give that like extra little bit of thought and kick. So one of the things we really love for this wedding, again, wedding trend that's been around, but is the smoke bombs. Smokiness and Halloween, that is marriage made in heaven already, even before we're talking about marriage. And then really, so it doesn't really matter even what colour, I think, because of the smoke. But obviously, colour like oranges, those dark colours. But yeah, I think just any kind of smoke bomb, perfect.
Yeah,
for this wedding.
Gives you some cool photos. And if you want some fun kind of theme related photos, you could get some giant pumpkins and they could become your heads, so holding them up in front of you just for some fun couples portraits, but again with that Halloween autumn slant.
You could also set up like a temporary tattoo station for your guests at your reception. Fun thing that they can kind of do in their downtime. You could have a real tattoo artist as well, but probably easier to get a temporary tattoo station. They might be with like your initials if you had like a monogram made, or they could obviously like choose a million other things.
And when you're thinking about your drinks, we're thinking Halloween, we're thinking witchy, we're thinking magic. You could have some magical drinks. So smoke bombs for your photos, but what about smoking or bubbling drinks for your guests for the drinks reception? So as the serving staff are carrying the drinks around, they've got these trays of just magical drinks.
Your ring box could be shaped like a coffin.
As could a place for a load of drinks. So you might have seen bathtub hired for weddings, where they fill the bathtub with ice and put all your drinks cans or bottles and things in there. Fill a coffin up. Does the same thing.
There you go. Your bridesmaids, instead of carrying bouquets down the aisle, they could carry broomsticks.
Or you might want to just disregard all of these ideas and go all out Halloween with crime scene tapes, skeletons, witches' hats, just like sheets to be ghosts. Just, yeah, go full out novelty and have a great time that way too.
We hope you enjoyed that video.
Yeah.
I kind of want a Halloween wedding now that we've done this. Yeah, let us know your favourite ideas. Don't forget you can pin these things to your own like pin boards, because as everything that you've seen on screen is in our dedicated Pinterest board in the description box. So do check that out and save the ideas. Yeah, let us know what you liked. What was your favourite idea? I'm kind of dying to know. dying to know. Yeah, that wasn't even intentional. Please like the video if you liked it, and of course don't forget to subscribe, because we're here every Friday with even more content.